Welcome back, everybody. You got Will and I Man here from the Block Runner MetaZone, Roby, and Mscribe, and today we got some Rarity Garden, some Trac, some Karma.
Yeah. What else,
What
dude?
else?
Benny, our Lord. Benny. Shout out to Benny, as usual.
Yeah, so a couple of months ago, like 8 months ago, we came out with a video.
Yeah.
It says, could Trac be bigger than Chainlink or BRC20 on BRC20?
Huge 300 upside, dude.
300x upside, right?
Yeah, that was quite the call and claim, considering, we're looking at the idea of Trac, and there was not much as far as like proof that this team, this developer, founder, whatever, was actually going to be able to execute.
Yeah. So why did we have such conviction at the time, my man? Because we understood how big of a problem indexing was in Bitcoin Ordinals.
It was a big fucking problem. It's like whoever does actually end up addressing, that's like a very typical like investment thesis, I guess, strategy.
Yeah.
And it feels like, developers probably have the best insight as far as like, what is the next big opportunity of a market? Is like, what is the biggest pain point?
Yeah,
and
because they're building.
Yeah, developers actually encounter those pain points before anybody else.
Yep.
So they're like, okay, whoever's actually building a technical solution to all this is probably going to be like super valuable into the future, right?
Yeah.
So indexing, big fucking deal. Whenever BRC20s first hit the market, it was largely a bunch of shit, to be honest.
Yeah.
A bunch of shit coinery is like, Frog's this, Elon's that, fucking all these weird coins. But there was like a couple, less than a handful, of actual real technical solutions, right?
Yeah, and 2 months later, we did one called the Why BRC20 Trac is the biggest opportunity in Ordinals Easy 100x.
Correct.
It's funny. 2 months later, so we scrubbed through it. We found like a timestamp here. It says Trac at 12 cents.
Wow.
So that means 2 months ago, it was like anywhere between like a penny and four pennies.
Yeah, I remember when we first stumbled on the Trac, it was like 400 to 500,000 market cap. So it was like, remember, BRC20s was like a baby, dude. It was like collectively less than 30, 40 million.
That's
the
right.
Whole market cap, including Ordi and all the other stuff. So
That's right.
Trac was literally a diamond in the rough. It was like a true fundamental value proposal, which is why we gravitated so closely to it, to kind of like, we have to keep our eyes on this one.
Yeah, so why are we talking about Trac today, 6 months after the early videos?
Good question.
Trac Core for TAP protocol is now available for public use. This release marks phase 1 of our 3-phase Trac Core rollout. Please read our Medium article and the GitHub repo. Thanks to the Trac Core. Finally, decentralized indexing solution for everything on Bitcoin is finally here.
Beautiful. Oh, thank God. To be honest, like, I've been waiting for a while. I think a lot of people have for, I guess, more certainty around this. Like, because we've talked about it amongst ourselves. Like, man, Trac is fucking great, right?
It is.
But we don't know if it's actually going to like head down the right direction to truly like honor its claims of like a truly distributed, decentralized indexing network.
Right.
But we kind of understood the necessary ingredients for that to actually work.
Mm-hmm.
But again, Benny and his team, they kept it pretty private as far as like what is the actual architecture and outlook of that, and from their point of view.
Yeah, and since early on, we've sort of been asking Benny, and people have been asking Benny, it's like, how are you going to do this? How are you going to decentralize this thing? And we've seen some counterparts to this, right? The graph, right? They've successfully, to a degree, have decentralized indexing, right? And so if you read this article, definitely read it. It kind of breaks down the 3 phases, what they look like, and what each of these participants are going to be doing, right? The indexers, the validators, and the peers, which are going to be most of the people kind of leveraging the Trac Core are going to be the peers.
Yeah.
And then indexers are going to be the writers, right? They're going to develop metal protocols, just as like we did. And then the validators are just going to be the proof that we're sharing the same data amongst the different nodes.
And that is like the large majority, I guess, recipients of like the TAP token, if I'm not mistaken, the validators, right? Because they're crucial to maintaining like that source of truth.
Correct.
Right? That is going to be what keeps the ecosystem honest and like potentially, if the, I guess, the game theory or the tokenomics behind this whole design pan out, make sure that it's uncorruptible information, right? Because if it is, then the peers are at risk.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So let me kind of read through like how the tokenomics work. So validators validate indexing data and reward indexers for correct data and availability. So very similar to the graph. Validator access can be obtained through Trac, which is the BRC20 token, which gives the rights to earn TAP, which is the TAP protocol token. TAP tokens will then be spread across indexers and validators based on their performance.
Very nice.
And then peers, which are going to be most of us, the users, right? The guys who leverage the API calls so that you can access the truth of what's happening within an ecosystem. Receive validated index data that can be used to support marketplaces, exchanges, and other apps that developers seek to develop. The users of peers is entirely free. Yeah.
This is it. Seems so simple, but like so powerful and effective.
So critical.
Yeah, it's so important. This is exactly what I was like hoping would happen, and it's actually fucking happening.
Yeah.
And it's quite remarkable to kind of like see that all pan out, because it's been like an 8 to 9 month development that we've saw like roll out, and we've been closely working along with Trac and the Bitmap ecosystem. Obviously, we have a lot to owe to Benny and what he's done, and it's just good to see. Like this to me gives me like a ton of hope for Ordinals overall. It's like that there is this like actual super necessary infrastructure that is now in place, right? It's not just, I don't know, a space run by art maxis. No offense. No offense. Like, but we need some real hardcore devs in the space actually, pushing the real progress bar forward.
Yeah. Building the foundation.
For developers specifically.
Yeah.
Right? Because, I mean, art is cool and all, but we're not going to really, like, unlock the true potential of this thing until we onboard real devs. Real
Agreed.
App developers, right?
Agreed.
And as far as we could see, it's all here in this ecosystem, right? Nowhere else so far.
Yeah.
That's very bullish, dude.
Yeah. So what's next? This release marks the beginning of phase 1 of the Trac Core rollout. Included with the phase 1 will be currently available TAP protocol, right? So as soon as you download this and run this on your system, you are, I guess, leveraging the existing TAP protocol metadata or meta protocol, right? And so that includes DMT, right?
Yes, it does.
TAP token. So it's currently available.
Yeah. Thank goodness.
Yeah. So pretty critical, right?
Yeah.
And then to be announced is Bitmap parcels, Ordinals, wallets, Pipe protocol, and Doginals. So yeah, all of this still needs to be updated because right now the TAP protocol is following the Jubilee update. And so all this also needs to follow Jubilee update.
Yeah, we know Benny's hard at work for sure on the Bitmap stuff. And of course, all of this for sure. And I'm sure Pipe protocol is going to come into like really significance, I think, the more that as this like rune narrative continues to like grow and grow and grow, which it is. As you can see, like there's tons of projects. There's some of them already announcing, some BRC20s announcing like the official migration to runes, even though it's like nobody knows definitively how that's going to pan out, but the narrative is cooking, right? And Pipe is an existing counter to runes, but like as closely aligned to Trac Core as it can be, right?
Yeah.
And so we're seeing tremendous application from TAP itself, and that's another like counter to BRC20s. So these narratives, kind of like Casey versus like Benny, is starting to cook up, right? At least from my point of view, I think the ecosystem of developers are going to have to kind of like make a choice. Do we want to build on top of like Casey's infrastructure, which obviously is like
slower than Benny's,
right? Or do we build on top of Benny's infrastructure, which from our point of view is much more robust and flexible and conducive towards like hardcore development. Right?
Yeah. A lot of this depends on indexing, right? If you're going to come up with a meta protocol, someone needs to index it, because if you come up with a protocol without indexing, people can just copy your inscription and you won't know which is the right one, right? And then maybe an inscription has some sort of logic embedded into it where first doesn't need to be the right one, right? So you have to achieve some sort of logic, And then once you achieve that logic, then that inscription is valid, not anyone else's who just copies that inscription.
Yeah.
Right. So you need an indexer to support this, right? And so finally, with this phase 1, you're able to at least see what Benny has done, right? Run it yourself and not depend on Benny's systems, right? Because his system goes down, Unisat goes down, mscribe has gone down, Ordinals wallet has gone down. Like these things, you don't want to depend on someone else, right? So you want to run it yourself, depend on yourself, and use what you're running.
Yeah.
Right, and that's the whole point. So that's phase 1. So phase 2 and phase 3 are going to roll out, included with the release of the tools and apps, indexer packages, and the final implementation of validators and incentives, which is phase 3. And the entire rollout is going to span over 2024.
Very nice. Yeah, so this is very important. Like we said, we've already been tracking Trac's progress throughout 2023. I mean, we're very much interested to like figure out how this whole thing rolls out, because we are basically the top users of this whole infrastructure, right? Because we see value in it, because we want to build really powerful applications on top of Bitcoin. We do.
Yeah.
More specifically, metaverse-enabled tokenized applications.
Yeah.
Metas.
It's coming soon.
Coming soon to a bitmap near you.
Yeah.
But
not only that, non-arbitrary tokens, that's one of the most complex meta protocols out there, and it's on tap, right?
Correct.
For a reason.
Yeah. It has to be.
Yeah.
In its current, because again, Benny's he's got the right foresight to, I guess, focus on the things again that are tailored towards developers, right? Which has always been our thesis, especially in the metaverse. Is like we saw a lack of that in the metaverse space for whatever reason.
Yeah.
All these different metaverse ecosystems launching and no SDKs, nothing tailored towards the developer. Everything is tailored towards like the common user, which I get.
Yeah.
You want to build these like very primitive tools that anybody can kind of use. That's all cute and all.
Yeah, just the output is just primitive stuff.
Yeah, very non-robust, very minimally functional, very non-interesting, in my opinion.
Agreed.
So yeah, if you focus on the developers, you get the highest impact product.
Yeah.
In our opinion. So, yeah.
So you know who else is interested in TAP protocol?
Yeah. Who?
OnChain Monkeys.
Who's OnChain Monkeys, dude?
Well, you should watch our videos. If you don't know who OnChain Monkeys is, we interviewed Danny, the founder of OnChain Monkeys.
Yeah, that's somewhere on the channel. We like the OnChain Monkeys because that's speaking of like innovators.
Yeah.
That's
Dude, he's contributed big time to Ordinals, right, Danny? So let's check this out. So coming as revealed by OnChain Monkey, get on track and don't sell for cheap. Staking, supply shock, and with fixed total supply of 21 million, guess what will happen to the price? So he's referring to the announcement by OnChain Monkeys that they are airdropping Karma tokens to Trac holders, pipe holders.
And they're redeemable for if you hold Trac. I think you could do a swap. And why? Because they want to be part of that validator network that we talked about, which is, what's their incentive to do that?
Yeah.
It's that TAP token, receive the TAP tokens for keeping the network honest and true.
Yeah.
Right. And I think this is like a testament to the belief in the technology that Trac is putting out there, right? Because I think Danny has demonstrated his like track record of like innovation and again forward thinking with the whole Ordinals innovations he's put out there. So the fact that they're aligning their ecosystem with TAP, in our opinion, is like a big fucking deal.
Yeah,
right?
Agreed. Yeah, and so the team strongly believes in this vision of the TAP protocol and the importance of building a decentralized indexer. 500,000 Trac tokens raised from the token swap will not be sold and will be staked on Trac Core to validate the network on TAP protocol. So they're sweeping 500,000 tokens, right? There's only 21 million of these things, right? And so this is a huge supply being staked for Trac Core, locked up.
Yeah.
Right, so that's a huge conviction.
It is.
From OnChain Monkeys.
And I'm pretty sure there will be more to follow.
Agreed.
I mean, you can't have a network of just one validator, right? You have to have multiple. I think Polygon has up to 100. So based on this like tokenomics, I guess, the considerations of how much needs to be staked, you can't fit 100 validators.
No.
On Trac.
Just
so
42 at 500,000.
42 like the max. Yeah, if 500,000 is the threshold.
Yeah.
But then I would assume like the whole supply just gets like slurped up by validators.
That'd be an infinite value token.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see how many actually validators participate in this network. I think if you get at least more than 10, that's a
good.
pretty good like distribution, I think. Right?
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
So we've compared Trac to the Graph, right, at a 1.5 billion market cap for entertainment purposes. And the potential here is huge, right? Graph is a decentralized indexer, right? What if you decentralized indexing on Bitcoin? What would you get? Something similar, something like comparable.
Well, exactly. That's what I mean. I was hoping Trac would end up like the Graph, and it's seeming like it is.
Yeah.
Right? You're the best one to verify that.
Dude, I like the Graph.
I know you do. You're like the biggest GERT fanboy on earth, right? You hold many GERTs, don't you?
I do.
You even have a GERT t-shirt somewhere.
I do.
You need to wear that more often. But so knowing that you are a GERT appreciator, like, what do you think? Like, are you impressed by what Trac is doing? Is this...
Yeah. This is a big deal because you need to be able to rely on a community to support this whole ecosystem. And how do you do that? You create incentive mechanisms for your community to participate.
Agreed.
And host the network on your behalf.
Yeah, this is actually like groundbreaking shit because we haven't seen like a real ecosystem deployed on top of Bitcoin yet. This is the first of its kind.
I agree.
Like a first true ecosystem, a multi-party ecosystem where it's keeping, as a collective, they're performing a very critical task that serves the entire broader ecosystem, right? That is what Web3 is all about. It's like unlocking these tokens to galvanize human participation in some sort of like really big endeavor or task, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool, right? That's what Bitcoin is. It uses the token mechanisms to aggregate all the computational resources as much as possible out there to support digital money.
Yeah.
Right? That's a big fucking deal.
You know what? Let me throw in a small wrench in this whole concept, right?
Okay.
And it's a good kind of wrench. It's a gold wrench, right?
Sweet.
Right? So on Ethereum, we have the Graph, right?
Yeah.
And the Graph just does indexing. But Ethereum does a smart contract layer, right? Is there a smart contract layer on Bitcoin? No. You know what it is? The indexers, they supply the logic for your meta protocol, right? So that Trac indexer serves like a smart contract layer to a small degree, but it also serves as indexing. And so, I mean, could you see a more valuable like proposition here for Trac as far in comparison to the Graph as a result?
I think in order for that to be more like validated, we need more introduction of like function into like tap ecosystem, right? Because
there's a lot of function now with DMT, right?
Correct. I know, but this is like the beginnings of it, like of seeing an indexer network support the proliferation of new function, right? That's what smart contracts enables. Like programmers can come in, deploy their own smart contracts with its own custom logic, whether it's like a DeFi staking tool I'm building or whatever. Like the logic's all in the smart contract, lads.
Yeah.
Here it is. It's on chain. Use it.
Yeah.
Right. But tap is kind of like the same thing, but like you're saying, the syntax or the logic of the inscriptions itself that the indexers are interpreting, that's what ends up executing on that function, right? So we need to see that function base expand, right?
Yeah. So you're asking for more meta protocols on tap. That's what you're saying. Yeah.
More meta protocols and more developers coming in building DeFi on tap, which I think is on the horizon, pretty sure. Okay. GameFi, DeFi. And then once all that's actually achieved, and it's like, holy fuck, what is Trac?
Yeah.
People are going to be asking.
It's like a combo of like smart contracts and indexing.
Yeah. It's basically like Ethereum on Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
Because Bitcoin can't really do any of this.
So what's the market cap of Ethereum? Do you remember the market cap of Ethereum, TJ?
300. Last time I looked.
Why do you keep doing this to him, dude?
It's lower now. That's not good, Will.
That's right. It is lower.
Yeah, I'm looking at 277 billion.
Yeah.
So did we just compare Ethereum to a Trac, man?
A little bit. Like maybe not all the way, but there's definitely like nuggets of like Ethereum-esque value to like what it is Trac is turning into.
Right.
Which is why we're making this video again 8 months later after the last one, which is Trac is the biggest opportunity in the ordinal space. I think we can extend that thesis into 2024.
Yeah, 100%.
It still is.
It's still, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Finally, we have how could the Runes protocol influence Bitcoin scalability and efficiency?
This is going to take some. It's probably a dedicated video. We need to kind of unpack Runes a little bit more.
It's another rabbit hole.
Runes versus pipe.
Oh, that's right.
Let's see what that's all about, because I think that is going to become another interesting, like a
little battle,
a little fisticuff action in the future. Like once we get closer to like actual Rune deployment, right?
Yeah, which is going to be on the Happening in April.
Correct.
All right, guys, that's it for us. If we missed anything, let us know in the comment section below, and let us know what you think about Trac.
Yeah, are we like too like?
Hey man, we called it so early, dude.
We did, but the credit goes to Benny for actually executing.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to Benny.
He could have easily just like rugged all of you, but he did not. He actually like followed through with the vision, and we're proof that we're using it, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, when devs are using a tool, you got to pay attention to that tool.
Right?
Yeah,
I think so.
That's a lesson that we learned early on, dude.
He really did.
All right, guys, appreciate it, and we will catch you in the next video.
Peace.